So now that an RFP has been created and opened and is available to be applied against, let's go ahead and do that as a regular user of the system. We'll log on as Bryce, look for any available grants, and here we'll see that new RFP is available to be applied against. So let's go ahead and apply. We'll create a new project. This information is filled out for us from the RFP itself. The project time frame will be 1 year. We will say that Idaho State Police is the applicant and implementing agency. Of course, there are no applicant or implementing agencies created in the system yet, so it will be up to the administrator, the grants management administrator, to create those applicants, agencies. We'll save this GPA and continue on. All of this information is required before a GPA is allowed to be submitted. And I'm hoping that you have some familiarity with this information as a user of GMS. Let's go ahead and specify the roles on this project. We'll create a director named Project Director. We'll make up a phone number. And we'll go ahead and create at his email using a temporary email that I get from 10-Minute Email. So here I am at the site 10-Minute Mail, which will allow me to use this temporary email address for 10 minutes. So I'll go ahead and use that as the director's email. Financial officer. And here I don't really care to put in a real email. The reason I'm adding an email that's actually going to show me what's sent to it is because once this application is awarded, then you'll see confirmations or a status sent to these email addresses. Okay, let's try to submit this. We'll agree to the assurances, which in this case there are none. We get an error that tells us that our budget does not have narratives, which is true. So we'll add that information. And now when we submit, I believe it should work. Indeed, success. So this application has now been submitted to PG&R. Notice that we see the director and the financial officer have the word temp after them, and that just signifies that these are not users defined in the system yet. It's actually going to use the email address to look these users up once their accounts are created. So now we can log out and log back in as an administrator, and we'll see under submitted GPAs our new project show up. As an administrator, we can award or not award or send this application back for revision to be resubmitted or deny it altogether. In this case, we'll go ahead and award it. We'll specify which funding source funds this and the depletion order, which isn't too important with a project that only has one funding source. But with multiple funding sources, it determines which source is depleted first. We'll go ahead and give him the required $1,500 here. No match funding, no special conditions, and we'll award. I forgot to add the implementing agency. So back on the title page at the bottom here, we see that this note tells us that we need to have an implementing agency. So let's go ahead and find him. Well, first we're going to need to create him, that agency. So let's do that. Looks good. And now let's go back and associate to that new agency. And now we can award. We see here that the applicant author, director, and financial officer have all been notified via email of this status change. So in fact, here's the email that I get as the author that tells us that the application has been awarded and needs to be accepted by both the director and financial officer. And furthermore, it says that those officers are not known in the system, so they'll need to create their accounts. Also, the address here looks like it's pointing to the live system on the ISP website, so these links will need to be modified for use with a new agency. Let's go to our 10-minute mail and see that we get the same type of update to the project director. So let's go ahead and use this email and create a project director account, who can then log on and accept that award. Once that account is created, the system knows that that account is associated to this GPA via the email, and it shows up in my grant application. So I can click on that GPA and accept. I'll need to view the acceptance document, the one that we associated with the RFP, and signify that I've read and understand it before accepting. And now I've accepted the grant application, and I see that it's now awaiting acceptance from the financial officer. And furthermore, note that now the director is no longer a temporary user, but the financial officer is still temporary.